You thought I was kidding. You thought I was joking. You thought I was playing around when I said he was going to appear in every forthcoming episode of the podcast. Well, I wasn't. I wasn't joking or kidding or playing. I wasn't fucking around. And I'm not fucking around currently. He's here. He's here to stay. He's not going anywhere. He's now the official mascot of the podcast. It's not going to be the Ewan Wins podcast anymore. It's going to be the Squeaky Apple podcast. Squeaky Apple Squeak Time, the hit new podcast from Squeaks the Squeaky Apple. Listen to him go! That wind down is a little bit annoying. Like, it's all fun and games. But then you get to a point and you have to let go and... Oh, not that bad. I haven't slept in a couple of days. It's one of those moments. But it's still early in the week. Typically, I like to record my podcasts on a Tuesday. I have Tuesday as my podcast day. I record my podcast and shit. Because then... Obviously, it's uploaded on Friday, but that gives me plenty of time during the week if I need to re-record shit, if there's technical issues or it's just a bunch of garbage and I want to redo it. Or if something comes up and I have to do it later, it gives me time to so there's no reason I can't go to sleep now, because I would sleep if I went to sleep now because I'm very, very tired. And then record it tomorrow. But... I thought, why not have a tired podcast? That'd be fun. There's nothing more fun than watching someone be tired. It's alright. Squeaks will take over. Speaking of things from previous episodes, it's only the Sludge Life photo album. Oh, it's all gone tits up. It's all gone Pete Tong. Oh, fucking stupid Apple, get fucked. Let's look. No, we're not really going to do that. Don't worry. But I use the. What am I doing? Sludge Life. Right. This is irrelevant. I'm just using Sludge Life as an example because I'm going to talk about Sludge Life by way of talking about something else. That's not particularly relevant. It's just an interesting thing that I can get into talking about via the medium of Sludge Life. So occasionally I will look up Sludge Life on the YouTube, see if there's any new videos. If anyone has posted new videos about it, new videos playing it, whatever, just new content. I just like to see if there's new Sludge Life content out there, if anyone's making any. Because that's always a good time, isn't it? When there's new thing of a thing you like. If it's Skyrim or Fallout or something, if there's new gameplay videos people are making, and I like that. I like to watch it. I enjoy that shit. So I was looking up Sludge Life, and there was, well, it's not new, it's just I hadn't seen it previously. I don't know how new it actually is. But so this Australian guy talking about Sludge Life and how Sludge Life is banned in Australia, which I was aware of. Ultimately, it's because it has drug use. And Australians don't like drug use. Australia is notorious for banning video games, or not rating video games, so not allowing them to be rated, and if they're not rated, they can't be sold in the country. So effectively banning certain video games for certain content. I guess violence and drug use and... Anything fun that's in a video game will get the video game banned in Australia. You can almost guarantee that. And Sludge Life is one of those games, apparently. Too much fun. They weren't having it, so they banned it in Australia. In Australia land. So the guy was making this video, it was a really good video. It was very well put, very well written, and well described, because he talks about the game at large, you know, the game in general, and sort of what it is, what it's about, and you know, elements of the game that might be considered controversial here and there, and whatever. And then ultimately he went on to say how it's drugs, because there's the zooms in the game, which are like magic mushrooms, in the Sludge Life version of magic mushrooms, where you eat them and then you go on a trip, and you're tripping. As you're tripping, you fly. You literally can control yourself flying around the level, which is quite a cool thing, and it's all trippy and wibbly wobbly, and it's all like and the colours are all like fucked up a little bit as well. It's a good, like, fun thing to be like, I am eating a mushroom and tripping, but also you can use that because you can fly around and like find spots around the level. You can like see, oh, there's a graffiti to paint here and a graffiti to paint there, and there's this thing, that, and here the bit, and all over the shit is piss. And then once your trip ends, which I think Sam noted, it's probably to do with how far away you fly from where you start. Because if you fly around a very small area, the trip goes on and on and on and on. But if you fly quite far away, the trip stops quite suddenly. But when the trip stops, you suddenly cut back to where you were when you took the mushroom, and you throw up. You go, and vomit comes out. So whenever I'm taking mushrooms, the zooms in the game, I like to eat them, and then you've got a few seconds to like fuck around before you start tripping. So I like to stand in front of somebody, and then I have my trip, and then when I come off the trip, I vomit into that person's stupid face. There's probably a reason I'm very lonely. But one thing, sort of, I don't know how to describe it sort of got to me a little bit, because the guy who made this video, the Australian guy, he brought it up a few times of how I believe he used the word offensive. He found all of the toilet humour offensive, like when there's the toilet. For instance, there's the toilet with the giant shit, and then that's in like a burger place. And if you speak to one of the guys there, he's like, "Oh, I don't even want to flush that, huge monster turd down the toilet because it feels like some kind of achievement, and I don't want to flush it away." It was quite funny. And there's people on the toilet. There's one guy on the toilet talking about it feels like his anus is bleeding. There's a dog drinking out of the toilet. There's the sad brown frown, the big brown frown, where a guy is sitting outside the toilet going, "I just did the saddest turd ever. It's the big brown frown." And then you go into the toilet and you see there's a big poo in the shape of a frowny face. It's funny. It's not hilarious. It's not the funniest thing in the world, sure, but it's pretty funny. Also, you can piss in any toilet that has the lid up. You can go up to it and you hear a little zip, and you start peeing. And if you move a little bit, because if you move away from the toilet, you will stop peeing. But if you move a little bit, you can like pee to the side of the toilet. If there's toilet roll, you can pee on the toilet roll. It doesn't do anything, but it's just fun to know that you're peeing on the toilet roll. So the guy making this video was saying how he finds, he likes the game. He likes that the drug use is sort of written into the game. It's not just there superfluously. It's part of the game. He talks about how, like for instance, the menu of the game is a laptop screen, but then when you click out of the menu, you realise the laptop is an item. you chuck the laptop down. So it's what they call diegetic. It's actually part of the world that you're in. It's not just a game menu. It's the menu of the laptop that your character has as a thing that you can throw down, and you can actually use it to like block laser beams so you can crawl through into the place. Which is good. So he went into a lot of detail and a lot of depth, and he likes this about the game. He likes that about the game. He likes some of the offensive humour within the conversations with characters in the game, but he doesn't like the toilet humour. And I just thought that was quite bizarre. That out of all of like the parts of the game, he sees some like fart and poo and pee jokes and turns his nose up at them. And not just because of the smell, I'd wager, but because he. Now, I don't want to assume he thinks he's above that, but it did come across as a little bit like he thought he was a bit above that. And he did, if I remember correctly, I believe he did use the word offensive. He finds them offensive, which is just so like. Of all the shit in the world that you could find offensive, how is some like silly little toilet jokes, how are they a thing that you actually find offensive? It's so odd to me. Now this is purely speculation. Again, no research, no actual knowledge of anything I'm talking about. Purely speculating, just so I've got something to fucking blabber on about while I do this shit. I assume, based on that, and also I think the guy's voice and such, I assume that the person that made that video is in his mid-20s, possibly mid to late 20s, but I'd guess around between like 23 to 26-ish. Because I think I realised something, and a lot of you might have noticed this as well, is there's something that happens, I think around your 20s, around your mid-20s, which is you start to develop and, I guess, mature in some ways. But it's when you start to think you're older than you are, which, you know, that happens all the time. It happens when you're a teenager. When you're 15, you think you know everything you're ever going to know. And then 2 years later, you realise, oh shit, I didn't know anything. Now I know everything I'm going to know. And then 2 years later, you go, oh shit, I didn't know anything. Now I know. And that carries on. But, I mean, to use as an example, fart jokes, I know personally there was a time when I would staunchly say that fart jokes are not funny. They're immature, they're cliche, they're old, tired, boring. If you laugh at fart jokes, you're an idiot. You're a boring idiot, and I'm interested in more intellectual comedy. I like comedy that makes you think, not just fart jokes. Anyone can make a fart joke, but it takes a real comedian to make you laugh with something other than just a fucking fart joke or a penis joke or whatever. And then I got a bit older, and you know, to my late 20s, early 30s, when I realised actually poo and farts and piss are all fucking hilarious on any and every level. They're just fucking funny. It's just pee. It comes out and it almost goes pee. It will tinkle, 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 and it's yellow and it smells sometimes. It tastes all right. And it's pee, and it's just pee, piss, pee, poo, pee, piss. And poo's funny because it's brown and smells, and it's just funny. It's the best word in the world, poo. I came up with some ideas for TV shows about that, actually. Maybe I'll tell you about them sometime. I know I did already. I'm just doing a bit. Farts are funny. They're little trumpet noises, and they smell like poo. And they go prp, and they can go preep. I'm not going to run through the full gamut of fart noises. You get it. But they're funny. I don't care what anyone says. Fart jokes are funny, and anyone who says otherwise is either in denial or they straight up are just a pretentious cock and they want to be seen as being above lowbrow humour like farts and poo and pee. But that shit's fucking funny. I don't care what anyone says. But that also happens with like music and films and such. Like, I love Avril Lavigne, specifically her song Complicated, because that was a very sort of, that song popped up at a very seminal time in my life for growing and becoming the person I am today. I've spat all over Mr. Apple. Yeah, I think she's great. I think that song's fantastic. Still one of my favourite songs to this day. But again, in my 20s, if you asked me if I like Avril Lavigne, I'd have gone, no, I'm not 12 years old. I'm not a fucking child. I don't like Avril Lavigne. What am I, a 12-year-old girl dancing along to, hey, you, I don't like your girlfriend. No way, I think you need a new one. Hey, you, I could be your girlfriend. I'm not some fucking dickhole that's going to be dancing along to that shit. Come on, Avril Lavigne. But then you mature a bit and you realise, actually, I was being a douche. Because in your 20s, it's when you're like, you get if you go to university or whatever, especially, or you get a job, you have this sense of maturity, of growth, of adulthood. I'm an adult now. I'm in my 20s. I can legally do anything and everything. And I have responsibilities and finances and bills and blah blah blah, whatever. I'm an adult and I do adult things. I don't give in to my childish whims like some childish whim person. But then you grow up a bit more and you go, it's okay to like things. Like, there's no shame in liking Avril Lavigne or My Chemical Romance, or, well, there is some shame in liking, like, you know, Green Day or Nickelback or whatever, but we don't really get into that. But you grow out, hopefully, not everyone does, but hopefully, for the most part, people grow out of that pretentious, I'm too mature, I'm too cool for this shit phase, and then you start to actually enjoy the shit you used to enjoy, which is a wonderful thing, that you take something you really, really fucking loved when you were younger, and then you sort of moved away from it because maybe you legitimately thought it was childish. But then after a certain amount of time, you might just randomly hear it again, or you might search it out of curiosity. But you'll hear like a song, or you'll watch a show, or, you know, a cartoon, or whatever it is, and you'll go, actually, I really like this. This is fun. This is funny. This is cool. And I think the same thing happens with poo and fart jokes, where you have the moment. This is why I reckon the Australian guy that made the video, again, I've done nothing but praise the video and praise the guy for putting that video out. He did it really well. It's really well written, really well sort of thought about and researched, very well put together, like mini video essay about Sludge Life, and then leading on to why Sludge Life was banned in Australia. Great video, great guy, great at what he does, and he obviously likes Sludge Life and has a lot of love for it, and obviously he found a way to play it, because there's always ways around these things. So no shade to the guy at all, but I assume he is mid-20s and he may possibly be in that sort of phase of being a bit too mature for poo and fart and piss jokes. But again, he did use the word offensive, so maybe there's some part of him that actually does find that to be offensive, in which case he needs to fucking grow up. Oh, what's that? Is that the new Ultra Mega? No, you silly goose. It's the issue 1 of Ultra Mega. It's the OG, the first Ultra Mega. There's a table with things on it. I didn't notice that before. That's cool, isn't it? Tables with things on. Lovely. I have to remember that. I just thought it would be nice to look through the first Ultra Mega again. Why not? Why bloody not? I just want to look at some like details and things, and a couple of bits, maybe some composition ideas. I love how he draws cars, man. I just really, there's a little shopping cart or shopping trolley, as we call them over here. You may notice quite a lot in my podcasts, especially in more recent years, as my audience has obviously grown. Just like my penis. That I use American terms for things. That's because a large portion of my audience is American, and so I know if I use English terms, a large portion of my audience will scratch their heads going, "Oh, what's that? What does he mean? I don't understand." So no, they'll go, "What? What did he say? I don't understand. I don't know these words, these silly little British terms. What's a trolley? That's weird." That's how Americans talk. "I don't know what no trolley is. Is that like a pickup truck?" That's how all Americans talk, because they're uneducated dum-dums. Whereas if I use American terms, the English people who watch my show stuff, the English, British, other people who watch my stuff, they know what I'm talking about because they're educated. They know other cultures have other words for things. Whereas Americans are ignorant sloths and they don't know anything. Not to offend a large portion of my audience, which happen to reside in Northern America, but, gonna make me sit here and go, "Oh, look, it's a shopping cart." Rather than, "Look, it's a trolley. It's a silly golly wolly trolley." Oh, are we careful with the golly wolly? Was very close to a very, very racist term. I apologise for that. That was I was just putting sounds together and that came out. That was not remotely on purpose. I hope you understand. But that's how British words sound. They all sound like racist things, and they may as well be. Britain's a fucking racist arsehole of a country. Love this monster. I absolutely adore this fucking snake monster. Tentacle limbs and head and shit. Krakoom. Look how he draws the forearm. That's something I've tried to learn again in more recent years, especially in like action poses and stuff. When you're drawing arms and legs, your brain tells you thigh and calf are basically the same length. So it's just two bits of the leg that make the whole leg. And then your head kind of does the same for arms. You get the shoulder, and then you're like, okay, so then there's the this bit of the arm, and then this bit of the arm, and you make them the same length, and it's like, that's not the case. Even with the shoulder, the upper arm isn't really the same length as the forearm necessarily. Forearm's quite a lot longer, especially if you're doing an action pose. You extend that shit. Like if with Gun Viking sticking his gun arm out with a shooter in it, you extend the forearm, keep the bicep and whatever a bit shorter, and it really impacts the fucking image and shit. Fight scenes. I've been trying to draw a fight scene recently. I've got a commission of Godzilla versus Kong, which is cool. I don't know if they want me to reference like the modern films specifically. I'm using those as basic reference, and then just trying to sort of make it look like Godzilla versus King Kong. But yeah, I've been trying to like put a fight scene together between these two that doesn't necessarily look like one of them has the upper hand over the other, because I don't want it to be like King Kong stomping on Godzilla's head and Godzilla looking like he's losing the fight, nor do I want it to look like, although I could, now I think about it, I could do Godzilla using his mouth laser, his death ray, to just blow King Kong the fuck apart. Like from the chest up, just obliterated. Like something out of Ultra Mega. Like this. Like King Kong's chest looks like this. There's no head, no shoulders. He's got like his gut, and his sternum is just blown apart with his arms hanging limply either side, with the heat beam or whatever it is blasting through that. That'd be quite cool. Maybe I might draw that just for myself, because that'd be quite a fun little doodle. But yeah, trying to come up with a fight scene that shows them sort of not grappling, because I don't want them to be like pro wrestlers. And then I don't want it even... I feel like even one of them, like if I do Kong like punching just like this, like if this is Kong and this is Godzilla, like that would be cool. That would look cool. That is clearly a fight between King Kong and Godzilla, but then it looks like Kong has the upper hand because he's twatting Godzilla across the cheek. And that's not quite what I'm going for. So I'm trying to devise a visual scenario in which they are just tussling. It's difficult. It's difficult to put any fight scene together, but especially when you have a specific idea in mind that you're trying to put, and then all the bit, it all gets a bit weird, and it'll go. I love his pipes and tubes and intestines and veins and shit. Pipes and tubes, man. I'm a sucker for some good pipes and tubes. I like his big head. It's funny. It makes me laugh seeing his big head. Makes me laugh almost as much as a toilet full of shit. Which I guess could be funny and very unfunny depending on... based on factors, context. Context is very important. And maybe that's the case with all like fart and poo and pee jokes. It's context. Peeing on your nan's face at a funeral, maybe your nan's funeral. Always funny, of course. I'm trying to come up with a scenario where peeing wouldn't be funny, but everything I'm thinking of would be... Because I was going to say peeing on a cat, not so funny, but actually it's kind of funny. Peeing on a dead cat is kind of funny. I don't know why you'd be doing it, but it's kind of funny. When would peeing not be funny? No, peeing's always funny. Sorry, but it just is. I like the little crowd scenes. This person's got a big rat as a pet. That's funny. I never noticed that before. Cars. Rubble shooting. Oh, shit's going crazy mad. Whoa. All the Ultra Megas. Doom. That's one big bad motherfucker. Oof. He got. He's got an arm off. His guts are out and hanging up of the thing. That's so well drawn. Like the tightness of these intestines just stretched as he's slid down the spire. And like them clumped at the top and then gathered at the bottom there. That's so well drawn. I very much like that a lot. Did you know Ultra Mega's a really cool, well drawn comic? Who'd have bloody thought? And it has good fight scenes. And I mean, see, fight scenes are maybe a touch easier to draw when there's a back and forth. One person punches, one person, the other person. The other person punches back, and they punch back, and they kick, and they tear, and they bite, and they have a little sexy touch. Because then you've got the benefit of showing more of the fight. But like I say, if it's just one person clocking another one in the chin, or punching some cunt's head clean off their body. Jesus Christ. I think I've looked through this a few times on the podcast, and each time I know I've commented on this just being such a good panel, such a good page, such good layout, such good storytelling, such good action and movement. Weight to it as well, use of like black shadows and stuff, and just the movement of that fist without like swooshy action lines and sound effects and pop splashes and things. Just the person with his arm going there and his head going there as he's just gone pa. And I like that it hasn't just like shot off clean in the direction of like the blood fountain, because that would be like up here, but you can see there's like a trail of detritus coming from the head, I guess blood and shit, where it's like it's gone like this, it's sort of gone possibly spun, though that's not been indicated necessarily. Ultra mega fist launch into the ground for whatever good it might do, and then he's fucking dead. Look at that. That's a great fucking page as well. There'll be one for the art collectors. I think I read that the first issue of volume 2 of Ultra Mega, which I guess would be issue 5, apparently all of the artwork sold for that. Like, I guess, like, I think one person bought the entirety of the original artwork of that issue, which is just insane. Good for James Harron, of course, and maybe he's represented by like one of those like Felix comic art type people, those original art agencies or whatever. So good for them too, and also good for the person who bought it, who can apparently afford to buy an entire fucking, I don't even know, 40 pages maybe of original comic book art. And imagine owning that. That would be insane. Put it up on your wall and just look at it. Just be like, fuck yeah, I got this shit. I saw a video recently of someone who has that. They have all the original art, like the original art of the very first issue of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic. Like the very first original comic. They've got the original art and they were reprinting it. I assume they had permission to do so. But they used it. They got scans or photos or whatever of the original art to reprint fresh copies of the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic, which is really, really fucking cool. And I think especially because that comic, I believe, all of the colour, the tone, the text, sound effects and everything is on the original pages, because they've like pasted on speech bubbles and sound effects and stuff, and they've got the colour and the tone in there, because it's like two-tone, but I think there's red and stuff, I think. So they don't have to like edit the comic in any way, because it's all in the original artwork. Whatever. The real reason I'm looking at Ultra Mega 1 is because this was sent to me by Steph. You all know Steph. I think his name's pronounced Steph. It's Stef. Maybe it's pronounced Steve, but in a weird... he's from up north. You don't know what they're doing up there. Crazy northern heathens. He's all right. He's actually really decent. Big up, Steph. He sent me this. Oh, it's blank and it's a matte finish and it's folds out. It's a sketch cover, a blank cover, sketchable on a bull cover. Right, so he sent this to me. Initially I assumed he wanted it to be like, I have this comic, please draw on it for me, like for him. So, and I was happy to do so because it would look cool and, you know, he can have it because it's cool. But he then said, no, it's a gift for you, Ewan. It's just for you to have and to do something with. And then maybe I can sell it for hundreds and hundreds of pounds and give him nothing. That was a little bit funny, but it wasn't that funny. So I'm going to try to start to conceptualize what the fuck can go on the cover. Obviously, I've got to put Ultra Mega on the cover, but I'm wondering, like, do I do him all like battle damaged and bloody, with his arm off, with his head off, even? But I really like the weird, that snake monster guy thing. Kind of want to do him fighting that, but I don't know. I have zero ideas. The ideas I currently have amount to this. A great big wank. A load of wank. That's what my ideas amount to. A big old load of wank. Fucking nothing. Shall we sketch? Shall we sketch-a-roo? I've got funny things to talk about in the meantime. Look, I don't remember if I showed this one or not. In case I haven't, here it is. And if I have, here it is again. You all know the term bird's eye view when you're kind of watching this from a bird's eye view. Do you know what that sounds like? Turd's eye poo. It's funny. Turd's eye poo. Get it? Bird's eye. If any time I hear or have to say 1, 2, and 3 in my head, it's always bum, poo, and pee. Without fail. Bum, poo, wee or pee, whore for 4, 5. Doesn't really have. There's not much like rude or funny. You can put to 5 rhyme. What rude term rhymes with 5? Out of the way, post-it shits. Post-it notes, more like post-shit notes. What rude term rhymes with the word 5? All rhymes for... come on, Google. I'm looking specifically for dirty rhymes. All rhymes for 5. Let's see if it actually fucking loads. Live, drive, alive, survive, arrive, derive, strive, dive, thrive, hive, contrive, jive. 5, 15? Drive, but they've put amongst the rhymes for 5, they have literally got the number 5, then down the list is 15. The next one is this, which is the abbreviation of drive. Like if you live on like Piss and Shit Drive, number 34, Piss and Shit Drive, Shithead, Alaska or whatever, you put that. But that's also just doctor. But then, so the next one on the list is 65, which, sure, 65 rhymes with 5, but only because it's got the 5 in it. And this already is... And that's... What rhymes with the word 5? The number 5. That's just 5. That's just the word 5. You can't say the number 5. So, of course, they've got 65. Why don't they have 25, 35, 40? But then, the next one on the list after that is this. It's just that, but in lowercase and without the... That's just doctor. I know it's also the abbreviation of drive, but it's just doctor. How is that? Revive, deprive. Oh, we've got more numbers, have we? 1775. Next on the list, Clive. Next on the list, no joke, 1715. I imagine that's how they want you to say it, because otherwise it's 1715, which doesn't rhyme with 5. What the fuck is this list? Who made this list? It's on rhymezone.com, So I've got to assume it's the place you go for all things rhyming. And they've got 1715 and... Wait, no. My mistake. Sorry. They have 1775, then Clive, then I missed one out. I'll take a screenshot and maybe I'll put it up if I remember. So we've got Doctor, then Revive, Deprive, 1775, sure, Clive. Then, above this, they have 1757. In what world does that rhyme with 5? I'm gonna be sick. What the fuck? Jesus fucking Christ. I just wanted to find a funny, rude word that would rhyme with 5. Hives, I guess. Arrive was one of the first ones that could kind of work. Because it's like, it's the joke about what a British person says when they're going to climax. Oh, I'm about to arrive! Urgh! You know, like that's how British people talk. You can tell the caffeine pills are kicking in, can't you? I've taken some slow release ones, so that's why I might have appeared more tired earlier on. 1757, 1757. Only one part of that rhymes with the word 5, and it's the number 5! Fucking hell. 1715. Ive. Vive? What the fuck is Vive? V-I-V-E. I mean, sure, it rhymes with 5, but what the fuck is that? F5. Literally F5. Rive. MI5. Hive, spelled H-Y-V. Lives. No! Oh! Lives, that's a tentative rhyme at best. Lives. Which is also the word lives, which is even less of a rhyme. Then, underneath that, is that. What part of this rhymes with 5? What part of this rhymes with this? Or this? 9? Maybe? 5, 9? But not really. How is that on there? Then it says lived. The next one on the list is lived. Like, that can be lives, but it can also be lives. Many lives. This is lived, but it's not lived. Lived isn't a word. But then, you're going to love this one. After that on the list is this. It's just that, but with the 8 and the 7 knocked around. What's happening? I apologise for the detour this has taken. I legitimately was going to just sketch out some like ultra mega fighting thing, and it could be a rough idea of what I could put on the cover, very lovingly given to me by Steph. Thank you, Steph, for that. But now I'm obsessed with this fucking list. What is this? How is this a thing? And then, alright, so, what's the key for this? Okay, so, at the top of the list, I'll take a few screenshots. If I remember to put them in, I'll put them in. So, at the top of the list, it's got the word, and it says word, and it's got the word. Then it says rhyme rating, and then it's got like, for some of them it says 100, 100, 100, which I presume is it's a 100% rhyme with like 5. Live, drive, alive, survive. I'd argue survive is not a 100% rhyme because it has the prefix sir. Vive on its own, even Vive is like a 95, 99% rhyme, not 100%. But it says Survive is a 100 rhyme rating. And I don't even know what the rhyme rating is. Is it percent? Is it just what people said? Is it how many people? So then you go scroll down. 1757, it says 100 rhyme rating. How is... Ugh, my brain's going to fall out through my fucking stupid arsehole. Then there's the next thing on the because it's all in like a table. So the next heading is meter. Some of them have square brackets with a slash. Some of them have square brackets with an X and a slash. I have no idea what the fuck any of that means. The next one is popularity. And then the one on the end is categories, where it's noun, verb, adjective, etc., etc. So it tells you what type of word it is. Alive is an adjective. Survive is a verb. Sure. So then we go down to, say, for instance, 1977, which comes after, in the list, comes after 1978, which doesn't rhyme. Apparently, these two are 92 in rhyme rating. These apparently rhyme with the word 5 to a factor of 92. Whatever the fuck that means. But they don't. Because 1978 or 1978 and 1977 or 1977 do not remotely, even in the slightest amount, rhyme with the fucking word 5. What is this? I am in hell right now. Oh! God! Fuck me. To somebody like myself that likes words and I like using words and I sort of to some degree care about words and how they're used and like when they're used correctly or incorrectly, it's not a huge deal for me, but sometimes it matters. You know, language to a degree matters. To someone like me, this is horrendous. I want to find and brutally murder the person who compiled this list. If it's one person, if it's many persons, then I'll go on a killing spree. Fuck it. My point was, so 1977, which comes after 1978, neither of which rhyme with the word 5, even if the list is telling me that they're 92 rated to rhyme with... 1977 apparently is an adjective. You know, like the green squeaky apple, the soft squidgy, small soft squidgy green squeaky apple. Adjective, 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 noun. 1977 is not a fucking adjective. How are you feeling today? Oh, you know, a bit 1977. They even, within the list of like noun, adjective, verb, etc., some of them are labelled other. For instance, the numbers 1757 and 1715 are labelled other. Other. That kind of makes sense. They're just numbers. They're not nouns or adverbs or fucking whatever. Apparently 1977 though is special because 1977 is an adjective. So says this list. Fuck me. It's worthless. Completely worthless. This might be the worst thing I've ever seen. I'd argue this list that I've happened upon while looking for a possibility of a rude word to rhyme with 5, I'd argue this list is worse than the genocide in Gaza. I don't care. I do not care how horrible a thing that is to say, because what in the ever Christing cunt fart is this list? Jesus. I did want to add that I didn't think of it at the time because I was clearly so vexed and mad and maybe not thinking clearly. But I realised after the fact that there's a good chance that there may have been some kind of AI involvement in making this list of words. So maybe it's less worth getting angry about, maybe, or maybe more. Maybe I should be more angry because it's not even people making these lists of words that fail to rhyme with the word 5 or fucking whatever. So that's that. On with the show. Let's doodle some Ultra Mega. Yay. This is Ultra Mega's head. I can't remember what Ultra Mega looks like. I just looked at the comic and I've drawn a couple of okay-ish pictures of Ultra Mega. I don't want his head to be like, I want his head to be like tilted upwards. Then you get to use this. This is an important shape when drawing heads. Oh, my beard hairs are falling out. Because that's the underside of the jaw. Because that's a mistake I used to make if I was trying to draw a head from underneath. You get the nose and the eyes. And then the ears go down here. And then the mouth. And then you just sort of go like, and then neck. But it looks like there's something missing here. All you have to do is put in that triangle. And it immediately gives it a bit of extra something. So I think I want Ultra Mega's head to be like that. His teeth gritted and his eyes, his head spike thing. And so maybe he can then be, I don't know, like this. These are his legs. Maybe his arms up like this in a fist here. Maybe he's got that like weird snake thing like wrapped around him like this. With its teeth and shit. And this hand could be like this. And it could be all like, whoa, fucking Ultra Mega. Fucking Ultra Mega. Gonna burn and do. Screen and burn and again. And do. Squad ba ba boo. Ultra Mega. Issue 1. And then that's about halfway. His head here. Fist. And you put the what's going on? What's going on? So you can use that as a bit. Sort of works with the as a compositional tool. You can use the weird snake mutant thing as a compositional tool. Sort of wrap around Ultra Mega and fucking you can have this glowing fist, and then that could be lighting effect on the thing, and this fist just being fisty, looking gnarly. Or maybe he could be like, it could be going up like this, and then he could be like grabbing it, so it could be all like scrunched up here and be going like, ah, fuck, with its tongue out or something. Does it have a tongue? I'm doing all this from like, not even from memory, I'm just making it up. What I think it kind of looks like. It's got one eye, that's quite cool. Does it have a tongue? I don't know if we see it. It's got some gnarly teeth, but I don't know if we see a tongue. But yeah, it could be like squeezing it there. And I think that's a bit more triumphant for the front cover. To have him like squeezing its neck. So it's like scrunched in here and going with all its teeth and its one eye bulging like. These are like tears coming out of its eye because it's all like, you're choking me, you bastard. Because if I have him just with his fists here, then on the cover that's just him going, yeah, which isn't bad necessarily, but if instead it's him actually going, fucking yeah, he's got it by the neck and he's like, yeah. You can have like blood adding to the compositional shape of the thing. There's this double S, which is very popular in art and compositions and design and shit, and then that could be continued. Could do the Fibonacci fucking thing, that whole shit. Oh fuck. Put his penis here. And then this leg can carry on over to the other side of onto the back. And then I can just put in like some rubble and stuff. Or I could put in the rest of his body, couldn't I? If we've got the spine, ultra mega, of his head here. This little pointy bit on the top of his head. No, I've just made it look like a penis. It wasn't intentional, but it's going to happen, isn't it? Grabby hand, scrunched neck, angry teeth, crying eye. Wrapping around him, around his body, fist here, penis, legs. I want to make him more like this. I don't want him to be stood straight with his arms up. I want him to be leant sort of this way. So I'll try to make that sort of more of a thing. And then what I could do is put in like the body and the arms and shit of the creature. Like it's not quite defeated, but it's in the midst of being defeated. I could put like buildings and stuff in the background. Some rubble in the foreground. I could do rubble going into... I could do rubble, like smashed up buildings and shit, here in the foreground, and then going into and slightly in front of and slightly behind, like working around the text of Ultra Mega, but leaving that sort of still legible. I think that could be quite cool. As far as designs go, obviously this is shit. I'll do a better drawing and then maybe I'll put it right here. Boop. Now, if you're just still seeing my hands and no drawing, then that means I didn't do it before I uploaded the podcast. In which case, but if you are seeing it, then I drew at least a basic concept of it before I finished, before I uploaded the podcast, and then so now you can see that. I have no clue at the moment what I'll end up doing because I might do one thing, I might not. Now that's the end of that.